Good morning. Welcome back to Community Connections. I am Dawn Lowe, Director of the Greensburg-Decatur County Chamber of Commerce, and we want to thank you for joining us today. I do want to put a little plug out. If you have ever missed a Community Connections, you can go back to our YouTube channel or the YouTube channel of WTRE and find those lasting recordings. They're all archived on our YouTube channel, so feel free to check those out and get updated on any one of our chamber members in the community. Moving forward today, we're going to introduce our guest here in just a minute, but I want to talk about a couple of upcoming events. For those who were able to join us last night at Leaders and Loggers, we had a great presentation from ServPro of Madison, Lawrenceburg, and Versailles talking about fire safety. Those who were in attendance received a fire safety sponge. Very unique. If you do not know what that is, definitely check out our Facebook post today. We've got a little write-up about it. And if you are interested in any of their services, feel free to contact them. Coming up on Community Connections, our next one will be Wednesday, December the 3rd, we're going to feature Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Columbus, Indiana. John Riley, General Manager of Coca-Cola, will be with us that day. And interestingly enough, or very poignantly strategically placed, I don't know, we had John Riley with us at the annual dinner just this past Friday, and they got to present a $1,500 small business grant supporting Bev Rivera and Jamie Rivera of Rivera Screen Printing. So very grateful for John and his entire team out there at Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Columbus, Indiana. If you were unable to join us for the annual dinner, you can definitely check out any of our social media outlets for more updates on that. Fantastic pictures. Absolutely amazing sponsorship. We had a great attendance. Well over 240 of our local community was able to gather with us. So we want to thank everyone who was able to be with us that evening, anyone who helped sponsor the event, all of our volunteers and businesses that were supporting that event. Next up for Lunch and Learn, we're going to be back on Tuesday, December the 9th with Cross Cloud Ops, talking about cloud security and digital transformation. Remember that Lunch and Learns are completely free for chamber members to attend. We do ask that you sign up using the link on our website. Go to greensburgchamber.com/events to find out more information and get yourself signed up for that. We do have a max limit of 20 and those spaces will fill up fast, so make sure that you go ahead and get that on your calendar. That is Tuesday, December the 9th from noon to 1. Lunch will be provided. The next Leaders and Loggers will be Tuesday, December the 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Tap, located on the north side of the downtown square, 116 East Washington Street. We want to take just a moment here and thank the Tap for supporting the Leaders and Loggers event. They are typically closed on Tuesdays, but they open every third Tuesday for us, and we can't thank them enough for that collaboration. That December the 16th, Leaders and Loggers will be a holiday mix and mingle, so no formal program. We're going to come and just enjoy each other's company, catch up right before the holidays. Watch our social media. There may be an event or a nonprofit that we help support through that event, so just watch our social media for more details on that. I also have a couple of upcoming events that I want you to mark your calendar for. Saturday, February the 7th is our Ag Day Breakfast. That event will be from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. It will be back at Next Generation at their Red Barn. We want to thank them for that collaboration and hosting us there. Again, the Ag Day Breakfast for 2026 is Saturday, February 7th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. Watch our social media for more details to come on that. And just recently, we scheduled the 2026 legislative update. That is set for Friday, February the 20th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. So go ahead and mark your calendars for that. We do have confirmation from Senator Leising, Representatives Meltzer, Zimmerman, and Patterson that they will be with us on Friday, February the 20th, 2026 from 11:30 to 1. One more quick update I want to talk about and just acknowledge our newest chamber members. So over the month of, I'd say August, August, that was like 3 months ago. October,
or yesterday.
Whatever month we're in, I'm confused. October, November, we have had Highland Bliss Piercings, LLC, come on with us. They're located at 120 East Washington Street. They're inside of KG Tattoos. Also, something to note, Hillbilly Corner is now called Creekside Farm Stop, LLC. That business, Creekside Farm Stop, new owner Matthew John has come on board with us. We will be pushing more information out about Creekside Farm Stop here soon. So again, continue to watch our social media for that. Lorca Psychiatry and Wellness, LLC. That is Haley Lorca. She has an office located inside of the Studebaker studio. For more information on her or any of these other new members, you can go to greensburgchamber.com, click on membership directory, and look them up there. You can get email addresses, phone numbers, and we can get you connected there. For those of you who aren't aware, Sid's Florist is now under new ownership. We have the Aspen Tower Florist and Jet Laundromat. New ownership, we've got a representative, Sherry Chasteen, that is the general manager of Aspen Tower Florist, and Megan Leeper on the Jet Laundromat side. So we want to welcome them. And then Koi Oasis Pools, we'll be making that announcement on our social media. Alan Koi with Koi Oasis Pools. So as you're thinking ahead to warmer weather, we're going to skip right over this cold winter stuff that we're experiencing. Warmer weather is coming, and you're going to need to get your pool ready. So Koi Oasis Pools can help you out with that. Look for an official opening closer to the beginning of spring. That is all I have, and with that, I would like to introduce our guests that are here in the studio with us. Welcome to the Greensburg-Decatur County Public Library. We have Lori Durbin and the brand new Executive Director, Brenda Campbell. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
Yes, so Brenda, I'm going to start with you. We just met about 5 minutes ago,
We did.
and I have not had the chance to get into a deeper conversation with you, but I think the public would like to know just a little bit about who you are and where you're from, and a little bit more about your background.
I was born and raised in Decatur County. My maiden name was Gauk. Might know some Gauks from around the community.
Absolutely.
I graduated from North Decatur High School in 1986. Go Chargers.
Little plug.
That's right. I went away for a while, went to college, did some other things, but when this opportunity opened, I knew it was time to come back back
That's
home.
awesome.
My parents are here, my brothers and sisters are here, and my great nieces and nephews are here, who are my heart.
Yeah.
So it's really excited to just come back home.
That's awesome. Well, we welcome you back with open arms.
you.
Welcome back home.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about your professional background.
I worked in the Jennings County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for 10 years.
Okay.
And then I was in banking for a little bit. And then I got into libraries. A gentleman that was a library director talked to me almost every day and said, "You need to be a library director. You need to be a library director."
Just manifesting it for
Now,
you.
if you talk to anybody I ever grew up with, and would you say that I would be a library director, they would never in 100 years guess that, and
That's
I wouldn't
fun.
either, but I love it.
Awesome.
So I worked at Jennings County Public Library for a number of years. I was director at Tyson Library in Versailles.
Okay.
Recently I was director of Hagerstown Public Library in Hagerstown, Indiana. So I've got a few years of librarianship under my
Absolutely.
belt.
She started when she was 4.
Right.
Like,
Can you
believe that?
seriously.
I'm telling
In the
you.
attorney's office at 4 years
That's
old.
right.
So
It's like a child prodigy over
Yeah,
here.
No kidding.
You have a lot of experience, it sounds like. So coming into the Greensburg-Decatur County Public Library, what goals, what ambitions do you have for what you're walking into with us?
Being this new, I'm still learning a lot. I'm learning what our connections are, who our partnerships are, and also trying to learn what the community needs. How can we partner with people to meet those needs? What can we do as a library to help meet those needs? Libraries are so much more than books. We've become community centers.
Yeah.
And so any way that we can help in the community, we are more than happy to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. I was just with some extended family this past weekend up in Fort Wayne, and we were talking about making pumpkin rolls, that it's, the season of pumpkin rolls, and one of my cousins was saying, I can't do that. I don't know how people do that. And we're talking about the pans that you need, yada, yada. I have another cousin sitting right beside me, and she said, you should ask your library if they have those tools. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, you should ask your local library if they have the jelly roll pan or the, fill in the blank. And I said, I had never even thought of that. That was a
So
fantastic idea.
Very interesting, because you just segued right into one of the things that we wanted to talk about today. Because
We'll take it off, Lori.
Well, we've been talking for a long time, and when Brenda got here, we kind of made some decisions that we're going to work toward. And I just got back from conference, and
Okay.
I took a session about becoming a library of things, and that's what they usually call that, is your library of things.
Okay.
And so we will be over 2026 working on building our library of things, and it will be things like jelly roll pans,
Yes.
specialty cake pans,
I love that.
cookie cutters, drills, stud finders, those things, or what did you tell?
Our
like,
power washer,
power washers, walkers.
things that people may need to use just for a brief period of time.
I
They don't
love
need them
that.
forever. And when I came from Hagerstown, and we also loaned out like pressure cookers for like canning in the fall.
Oh, yes.
Because they take up so much space, you have to store them in your house, but you only need them for like 3 weeks.
Right.
So we had 3 of them. We checked those out.
So it's been sort of a it's like kismet, it all sort of came together.
Yeah.
And we have some space that got developed because we did the remodel
Right.
last year. So we've got some space for some cabinetry to be able to house some of those things. Because in a library, of course, the biggest concern is always space.
Sure.
And so we have this space that we feel like we can dedicate to that. We started out, we already do have board games. So if you have family over for the holidays, and you have, you're not a person who keeps board games, maybe you're a grandparent, and you don't have Candyland and Shoots and Ladders, or
Sure.
even some Ticket to Ride, some of these other games. Come to the library, you can check games out,
Perfect.
and use those at home. And
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we have hotspots and that kind of thing, but we're really just excited about building some more of that for the community, because we think it's something that our people will really use.
Yeah.
And you just completely, you
Floored
didn't
that
even
that-
know.
No, I had
but
no
you,
idea.
You gave
No
that
idea.
real validity for
Yeah.
us, that obviously that's something that is will be well received.
Yeah, we were talking about how you only make a pumpkin roll during this holiday season, and so, most people don't have
Right.
those appropriate pans.
or
and I
a
said,
princess birthday cake.
well,
Right.
correct.
You're only going to do a
right.
princess. Your daughter's 3. She's going to
Yep.
get princess this year, and next year will be, whatever
Who
the
knows,
next thing is.
whatever,
And,
yeah.
and so, you maybe only,
Yeah.
and it's, those things are so, they're expensive if you want to buy them yourself and then store them and then not know what to do with them. But, if you can check it out for 3 weeks and, get through your event, and then somebody else can do that same thing.
Yeah.
So,
I
and,
love
and I
that
do think
idea.
it's definitely something that, particularly with the economy and the way some things are going, with that, I think it will definitely be a services that people will really appreciate.
Absolutely.
So if people have ideas of things they'd like to see
Yeah.
in our library of things, I'm always taking suggestions for things like
Perfect.
that, and they can let us know, and we'll see what we can do. It'll be a little bit of a process, because we need to get our cabinetry in, and of course
Sure.
money's always an issue. You have to think about money and how that's
Right.
going to happen, but it's definitely something that's one of our 2026 goals.
I was going to ask you, through these series of questions, how you think the community impacts, or how the library impacts the community in other ways. And I think that that's a great example right there, of an outreach that you're providing. But are there any others that come to mind?
The library allows each employee a certain amount of hours every year to go volunteer to somebody else, Meals on Wheels, or
The cheer fund, I use mine for the cheer fund.
yeah. So I think that's a great way that the library
Nice.
gives back to the community, that each employee can do that, so we can reach out
Very
again
nice.
and help other people, and maybe have a partner, maybe there's something that we can do with them somewhere down the road,
I love
or
that.
just to help the community.
Yeah.
We also have, our little free food pantry, because we know that people are struggling. Food, insecurity is a real thing, and so we're working on increasing that a little bit. It's kind of small right now, and so we're looking for a bigger way to house that. And we also have our community closet for warm clothing, blankets, that kind of thing that people can donate to for those who need those things.
to know.
Um,
Yes.
We have of course, the kind of library services that you would expect, computers and open Wi-Fi and, help with resources. We can try to find, if you need particular resources. We have our housing kiosk that was provided through the United Fund. I think that's where it came. Actually, it might not have come through the United Fund, but it's state supported, and so they can come in and use that kiosk for like housing issues, and it's like a legal kiosk. They can actually speak back and forth with someone in the legal field. So that's available. Of course, we have programmings. Different programs for all different ages. We have, the bookmobile goes out to many places in the community, in the county. And then we have our outreach storytime librarian who goes to all of the preschools and the daycares. The Children's Room works very closely with the YMCA, and their youth group also works with the schools. And they've been doing this year, they got a grant for a financial literacy program that they've been using at all the schools, and then have also used in-house. And they're like board games and things that promote financial literacy in a fun way so that the kids will understand.
Interesting.
And she has seen, I can't remember how many students but they've been to all the schools. I think they're finishing up maybe at St. Mary's right now. And then, of course, they've also held those in-house, and they've done some homeschool programs with those as well.
Very neat.
And it's kind of a fun, it was through the ALA and another organization that they got their grant. And so that's been a big part of what they've been doing this year as well.
Our library has seen a lot of growth over the last couple of years. Talk about some of those highlights that we've seen.
Wow, we've had so many things, so much programming. We've increased our programming probably double because we know that's something that's really important to the community. And Brenda and I were just talking. She can see it out her window now. Our new story walk.
Yes.
The Sally Crane Memorial Story Walk has a new story right now. It's Duck on a Bike.
How often are those stories being changed?
They've been changing them out, if weather permitting.
Sure.
Every 6 to 8 weeks is what the goal is. They had one for Halloween, and then they changed it out, and now it's Stuck on a Bike, and cute story, and that's really nice. I think even the adults enjoy that. We've participated in so many different things. We go to almost all of the community events that we have staff for. We'll be at the Holiday Walk with the hospital. We're giving out these very, very adorable little bears, so we can say berry holidays to everyone.
Very nice, very cute.
And really just a lot of different programming and finding ways to, like Brenda said, partner with other people in the community, and we do that. We partner with the health department. We just had flu shots were given at the library a couple of times. We've partnered with the Purdue Extension Office. We've built a lot of very strong and rewarding partnerships over the last couple of years.
I also understand that Santa Claus might be coming to our library very soon.
Santa's coming on Saturday, and that is a partnership because
this Saturday.
Yes, and it's early because Santa was booked.
He is so
the
busy.
Entire season.
He's got to get those letters early so he has time to get that stuff taken care of.
So if your kids, like all the kids, like Christmas is coming. Like it's Halloween and then it's supposed to be Christmas. So if your kids are like chomping at the bit for Christmas, Santa will be at the library on Saturday.
Okay, and what time?
I think it's from 10 to 11:30.
Okay. And
there will be snacks and games and different things, and of course, the pièce de résistance. He'll be there for you to sit on his lap and tell him all your Christmas wishes.
Absolutely.
And when we're really very grateful that we were able to get Santa, even though it is a little early. He's going to be so busy at the workshop. Mrs. Claus said you better get some of these things like plugged in now.
Working on now, absolutely.
So that we can make sure you see all the kids, especially in Decatur County.
Yeah.
Because we know that all of the kids in Decatur County have been exceptionally well behaved this year.
Yes, they all made the nice list.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
There are no naughty children in our area.
That's right.
Don't believe that.
We're going to segue just a little bit. We've got America's 250 coming up, 250th birthday celebration. And from what I understand, you have some very unique collections at the library that might kind of lend itself to history and things like that. Talk a little bit about those collections that you have.
Well, I will tell you, if you really want to do a deep dive on this, our
Just
Indiana
needles.
historian, Jennifer Leach,
Yes,
has
yes.
been working tirelessly on really archiving some of our really special materials that we have. She has a museum background, so she's making sure that our things are being stored in ways that are safe and will, make them available to the community for a lot longer.
Very nice.
They were, not stored appropriately or whatever. But there is. I don't know a lot about what is going to be happening, but I know she's working on the 250th, and we were told, and I'm one of these people, I only believe it when the money's in the bank kind of thing, but the Andrew Carnegie, we are still part of the Andrew Carnegie system.
Okay.
We still claim to be an Andrew Carnegie library.
Gotcha.
Because we started that way.
Okay.
And so rumor has it that they are awarding $10,000 to all of the Andrew Carnegie libraries in the United States
Wow.
for the 250th. Now, I've turned in all the paperwork. I have not seen that check yet. And so, it's weird when somebody sends you an email that says, we're going to give you $10,000.
Right?
And we can use that in ways to celebrate that. So when and if that comes up, we may see some bigger celebrations. But I know that Jennifer has been working with some different things with the Indiana State Library and working on some programming and some different things. But as far as our collections are concerned, we have a really nice Indiana room. If you're interested in researching genealogy, for example, when Larry Roof did his book a couple of years ago,
Yes.
he used the Indiana room at length to research all of his information, and he told me, he spent so much time with the microfilm machine looking at all of the past newspapers and all of the documents that we can get, and he said it was hard to focus on what he was doing because he'd be reading an article and then he'd see over here, that dresses were 25 cents, and then he'd be like, what? And then he'd see, because back in the day they used to print everything, and they
Yeah.
didn't really care what secrets they told. And so, you might find something out about, a family that has been in Greensburg
Right,
a long time,
right, yeah.
but it was their, twice removed ancestors or whatever. And so he spent a lot of time there. And I know Brian Wenning spent a lot of time researching the book for the fire station
yep.
in the
Nice.
Indiana room. It's really hard to say. And so there are a lot of things there. Jennifer, again, is a really good source there,
Okay.
because she will take you in, show you all of the information that we have. We have cemetery maps and obituary files and, yearbooks from way, way, way back. We've
Stuff
got-
that people have found in old attics of old homes, they bring in, and she goes through that. And
She's been working
nice.
On a set
them usable
of
and-
glass negatives that were discovered above a business on the square. There was a photography studio in that area, and those glass negatives are from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And
Okay.
she's been working with a conservator. She got a grant with the Community Foundation, and she's been working with a conservator to have those cleaned and processed so that they are stored safely. And then the goal is to digitize those so that, because they're glass negatives, so they're like like a regular negative.
Right,
It's
right.
the shadow
reverse.
effect or whatever. And so she's going to digitize those, and those will be available for people to see online and in the building as well.
Oh, very
And I'm
cool.
hoping that she's planning to do a program once those are finished. There were several. The first, it's very expensive to have the conservation done on those.
Right.
But the lady that's doing it is doing a fabulous
they
job.
were covered with coal
Yeah,
and
they had
coal
gold.
dust.
A lot of it was
and-
coal dust.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They were so fascinating, and if you're interested in some of those kinds of things, give us a call. Jennifer will make time
Yeah.
to show you. I know Larry Roof has been over to see some of those glass slides because he's very interested in all that history, and so we have a lot. There's a lot there. So much that
I feel
it's really
like that
difficult.
is so unique. Is that common for libraries to have historians? And yeah, maybe no.
Every library, every public library has an Indiana room
Okay.
with some kind of history and genealogy about their community. Now, some are very, very small
Okay.
because some people go to their historical society or they have a museum in
Right.
town. But to have one to this extent that has the amount of information
Okay.
that we have is rare.
In the size that we have. Because if you go to Allen County Library, which
Of
is
course.
huge, you're going to see this giant collection. It's like
Okay.
the top genealogy library in Indiana. But we have just a really lovely collection of things that we just had the daguerreotypes, the predecessor to the Viewmasters,
Okay,
the ones that you looked
yes.
through. Jennifer just went through all of those. Those were on display for a while. So what we have is very special and unique, especially for the size of the library that we have.
Gotcha.
Some libraries that are
Perfect.
bigger do have a genealogist on staff or a research librarian. That is kind of what Jennifer is, but she does other things as well.
Okay.
So it is common for libraries. It is more common in bigger libraries to have more and then bigger staff.
And her
Sure.
background in museums makes her very unique as well.
Absolutely.
She started out-
I would say we're very blessed.
Yes.
We really are.
Yes, we are.
Jennifer has a degree in anthropology and also has a museum background with the Children's Museum, and so she has a lot of education that she brought with her.
Very
and
cool.
but she wants to work part time in our library, and we're
Yeah.
very fortunate that that's what
Absolutely.
she
Yeah.
wants to do.
Absolutely. We are coming up on the end of 2025, and with that comes a lot of discussion about taxes and preparations for 2026 or whatever that next year is. How can the library assist, or can you assist with anything in that realm?
We can assist.
Okay.
We used to get booklets, and people would come in and get the booklets. They don't send those out. You have to special request 100 years ahead, and you might get 25. But all of that can be done online.
Okay.
Now we cannot sit down next to you and enter your personal information and all that stuff. We cannot do that. But we can guide you to the correct websites. We can guide you to the correct form if we know enough information. And then if
Perfect.
you have questions along the way, we're happy to guide you through that. We cannot do that for you,
Sure.
but we're happy to assist in doing that.
And
Okay.
if you need those printed, the copies of those tax forms or different
Right.
things printed, we can find those online. I mean, those are available to everyone online, but you can print in our building. Since COVID, our first dollar of printing has been free. So if you come in and you just need 3 or 4 pages printed, there's no charge for that.
Very nice.
We felt like that was something that came about during COVID because of the change situation. But then we realized that was a service we could offer that didn't really impact our bottom line,
Sure.
but it really impacts that bottom line for maybe that individual
person.
who needs to have those things printed. So that
Absolutely.
first dollar of printing is free.
Okay.
10 cents a page for black and white, quarter a page for color, and
Which
and-
has
and
stayed the same
forever. And we won't raise it. We don't raise it because it does cover our cost, and that is all we really care
Neat.
about. We
Yeah.
are not looking to make money on our public doing printing and that kind of thing. And something else that we do that people often don't think about until they need to do it is we're one of the few places in the community that still offers faxing service. And
Yes.
a lot of places want you to fax things over, but fax machines to use are kind of hard to find.
Right.
So we're still able to do that as
Very
well.
We also have a notary in the building, so we can offer
Just
that
now,
service as well.
Brenda's a notary, and that is something we haven't had
Very
for
nice.
probably 6 or 7 years now. So
Okay.
that's actually I'm glad that you mentioned that because we do have people who are looking for notary.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because we get calls on that quite often.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of people that we are able to disperse them to.
Right.
But good to know. And so, do they need to call ahead for that? Can they?
Just to make sure I'm there,
You're
because
there,
sometimes I'm gone at meetings or
Sure.
whatever, and I'd hate for them to show up and then not be able to help them. So yeah, if
Of
they
course.
call ahead, that's wonderful.
Typically, Brenda's hours are like 9 to 4-ish.
Right.
But,
Okay.
but if, just to make sure, and Brenda, we haven't really talked about this, but what's your, do you have a charge for that? Are you, the library, I mean, that would be your charge.
Right.
Is that something that
It's
you're,
typically $2 a page.
Okay.
Now, if I see people that just really need the help and don't have, I'll waive it. So
Okay. Very nice. So we're kind of wrapping up here already. This always flies. I always think 30 minutes is so long. How are we going to cover it? And then 30 minutes comes up and we're like, oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. So just here at the end, anything that we didn't talk about that you want to discuss, goals that you're looking forward to, maybe Brenda coming in new. We kind of hit a couple of those off at the beginning of the segment, but anything that
Well, we have big ideas and big plans. It's just a matter of getting those to fruition, bringing those plans about. So I have a lot of discussion with my clerk staff, with the teens librarian and children's librarian. What do you need? What would you like to have? And
What do we want to do?
And then when I get those ideas, then we can, plan and go forward and make sure we have the money and the means to do it as well. So right now we have a lot of, even in my first week or two, a lot of ideas that we've kicked around and things that we like to do, and now we're kind of in the how do we get that done stage.
okay.
And everybody in our building is very much all on the same page, no pun intended, or completely intended, as the case may be.
Well done. Well
On
played.
on serving the community.
Yeah.
So everything that we do, and I mean that, I mean that when I say every decision that we make, everything that we do is considered, decided upon with the best interests of our community. So
Absolutely.
it's not about having, a bigger, more beautiful, more bolder building, or about having, the fanciest of chairs and, some of that kind of stuff, because we all feel very driven to put that money back into places where it will benefit the people that live in our area. That's what's important to all of us. And that's why we do, like the little food pantry and the clothing closet. And, Brenda's saying, she'll waive her fee, and we have free printing. And, all of those things are geared so that our community gets what they need. And that is what I always say, if you have a need that you think the library can fill, even if it seems really weird, just ask. Because if you have that need, the chances are really good that somebody else, and probably many people in the community, also are experiencing that.
And if we need to
Right.
reach out to a community partner that can help us get that done, we're more than happy to do
Absolutely.
that. Like, that's not completely in our wheelhouse. We can do this part of it, but maybe this organization or this company
Right.
can help us with the other part. We're more than happy to do that as well.
This community is so great about that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Collaborations are key, and I think that Decatur County, bar none, does a fantastic job with those collaborations.
And we do have a lot of really good partnerships, so that, I feel really comfortable reaching out. Of course, I reach out to the chamber, and
Absolutely.
I would say,
Yeah.
this is something that somebody has requested, and we're not sure how to go about doing that. Is that something that you can help us with?
Sure.
And we always get positive response.
Yeah.
So the only real, if Santa wants to drop off, like $100,000 check, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Santa will be there this Saturday.
Yeah,
We'll see
we'll
if-
ask him. We'll ask him.
We'll see what
I'll bet
Santa
he'll
can
give
do.
me a candy cane. That's what I'll bet.
Well, we want to thank you both for being on Community
Thank
Connections.
you.
Brenda,
Thank you.
welcome
Thank
again
you.
to the
Thank you.
community. We're excited to have you, excited to see you find your place there at the Greensburg Decatur County Public Library. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, you mentioned that programming has doubled. We put all of those on our events page. One of
great.
your team members submits those to
Yes.
us.
We
and
appreciate that.
We cannot, there are so many.
Yeah.
There are
Like,
so many.
how
I mean,
are they
idea
doing this?
creation. Yes, idea creation from your team is incredible, because all of the different ideas that we see come through for your
We've got some great
events are
ideas for next year.
fantastic.
Yeah,
So
got some great things
so
coming
keep
up.
that up. We're pleased to offer that resource for the
Thank you.
library
We appreciate
and
that.
to help get your word out.
Makes
so
a difference.
Absolutely.
Makes a difference.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you both for
Thank
being
you.
on the program.
Thank you so much.
This has been Community Connections on WTRE. Thank you so much.
I'm going to jump in before we
Oh,
tie up.
absolutely.
I want to say we were not able to be at the chamber dinner
Yes.
on Friday, but we were
Yes.
awarded one of those small business grants.
Yes.
So we haven't really been vocal about this yet, but we're going to be upgrading.
Let's be vocal.
Let's be vocal.
Let's do it.
So we're going to be upgrading our on-air system. It's our new one is sitting behind the ladies there, and then
awesome.
with the grant, we're going to be able to upgrade our microphones, our booms, and
Yeah.
just kind of the studio in general. So we want to say thank you so much
Absolutely.
for awarding that to us, and we're
Congratulations.
excited to,
That's wonderful.
excited to upgrade a little bit.
Yeah, so we came in, probably about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago now, and we were, quote unquote, and if you can't see me, I'm using air quotes, doing a feature on Small Business Saturday, which is coming up,
It is,
which
yes.
we will use portions of that for that, but really our underlying reason for being here was to let Emily and Kathleen know that Emily had applied for that small business grant, and the committee decided to award them with one of those. And so throughout the process, we were able to surprise them both.
Yeah,
And so it was a really fun interview. Yeah.
Can't think of an organization that could deserve it anymore. I feel like WTRE does so much in the community.
Absolutely.
They partner with us at the library. I know they partner with you,
Yep.
with all of the organizations in Greensburg. And without our local radio station, it would be much, much more difficult to reach.
They're really the
100%.
voice. They're really the
They-
voice of a community.
they really
I
are.
remember
And so-
having it on the radio when I was a little kid. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even with their website, if I need to know something, like that's the first place I look. Like if it's community matter,
Right. Yeah.
I just jump to WTRE because that's I know that if
Perfect.
it's news or whatever. So I highly applaud the fact that you
Yeah.
awarded the grant, but that you guys got the grant. I think that's a wonderful thing. And new microphones will be so fun.
It will be so fun. We're
For
excited,
those who
so-
are watching on YouTube, this is going to look a lot different.
it will. Yes, we're very excited.
We talk
to-
about the octopus arms and the pens that hold things
It's-
up.
Yes,
all the
we're
time.
moving into
So-
the new century
Yep,
here. So
yep. No, it's
thank
gonna
you
be
all for your
fantastic.
kind words. That we
Yeah,
appreciate it.
awesome.
And we
Well, you guys do
love what we do. here, so.
fantastic work. You really do. So
thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, we'll wrap this up. This has been Community Connections on WTRE.